In a theoretical free market, price serves as a natural equilibrium point. It is determined by the continuous intersection of supply and demand. In the Indian context, this model faces specific pressures. High population density, variable income levels, and periodic shortages of basic goods necessitate state intervention to prevent market distortions and ensure broad access. As this text outlines, the state regulates pricing through a composite matrix of distinct legislative acts, including the Competition Act, the Consumer Protection Act, and the Essential Commodities Act. We can organize these overlapping laws into three structural pillars: preserving business-to-business market structure, protecting the direct consumer transaction, and managing the scarcity of vital goods. Because different pricing behaviors create different types of economic outcomes, they trigger the jurisdiction of distinct statutory bodies and enforcement mechanisms. Navigating this tripartite matrix is the baseline requirement for executing corporate compliance or market strategy in India. We begin with the first pillar, business-to-business structural integrity. This area is governed by the Competition Act of 2002 and overseen by the Competition Commission of India. This section prohibits resale price maintenance. A manufacturer cannot dictate a fixed minimum price to a dealer. It also addresses price discrimination. Charging different rates to different dealers for the same product creates an artificial disadvantage, harming smaller competitors. The Act also targets collective price fixing. This occurs when competing manufacturers form an informal cartel, agreeing on common prices to eliminate competition entirely. This text defines auction-level violations: collusive tendering, where sellers agree to quote high rates, and collusive bidding, where buyers conspire to keep offers low. Conversely, predatory pricing involves slashing prices below production costs to drive out smaller competitors and secure a monopoly. Once a monopoly is established, it can lead to an abuse of dominance. In this scenario, a company leverages its market power to charge unreasonably high prices. To halt these anti-competitive practices, the Competition Commission of India has the authority to conduct inquiries and issue strict cease and desist orders against offending parties. The Competition Act ensures that the final price is the result of fair rivalry, rather than secret agreements or financial force. We move to the second pillar, the direct transaction between the retailer and the final consumer. The Consumer Protection Act of 2019 steps in here. As the text specifies, it allows for legal action against excessive pricing when a retailer charges more than the law-fixed price, the displayed shelf price, or the printed package price. To enforce these rules, this framework establishes a three-tier redressal machinery consisting of district forums, state commissions, and a national commission to process consumer grievances. The Act also prohibits bargain and deceptive pricing. This covers tactics where low prices are advertised purely to lure a customer into a store to sell them a different product. There is a key legal distinction here. While public and government-managed undertakings are immune from the Competition Act, the Consumer Protection Act applies to them without exemption. To solve the problem of information asymmetry at the retail level, the government utilizes the Legal Metrology Packaged Commodities Rules of 2011. These rules mandate labeling for every packaged commodity, revealing data like net quantity, the date of manufacture, and the final selling price. This legal text outlines the prohibition against charging anything above the printed maximum retail price, or MRP. Inclusive of all taxes, the MRP represents the legal ceiling for a retail transaction. By mandating this transparency, these rules allow consumers to verify pricing integrity of the store shelf. Finally, we reach the third pillar: managing scarcity and protecting public access to vital resources. The primary tool here is the Essential Commodities Act of 1955. As shown in Section 3, Subsection 3, the government determines payment for acquired essential goods through an agreed price, a controlled price, or the prevailing market rate. The government has the power to regulate the selling prices of food items and essential oils in specific localities to stop prices from spiraling during shortages. For healthcare affordability, the government relies on the Drugs Price Control Order of 2013. According to this document, the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority monitors and regulates the prices of drugs strictly listed in the National List of Essential Medicines. By proactively establishing a strict ceiling price, the regulatory authority ensures that these critical, life-saving medicines remain perpetually affordable to the general public. Additionally, the Industries Development and Regulation Act of 1951 gives the state the authority to impose price and distribution controls over scheduled industries like steel and sugar. In these specific sectors, the Indian government prioritizes national stability and public health over absolute price freedom. Pricing in India functions as the composite output of structural competition, transactional transparency, and social necessity. Failure to comply with any level of this framework, from cartel agreements to missing MRP labels, initiates specific legal interventions, including cease and desist orders, mandatory price refunds, or direct state price fixation. As this summary emphasizes, any manufacturer or seller must be conscious of the distinct provisions contained across all of these statutory regulations simultaneously. Mastering this regulatory architecture allows firms to align their pricing strategies with the socio-economic mandates of the Indian market. This alignment is a strategic imperative for operating within this landscape.